Today, the 20th of November, is Universal Children's Day, an exceptional day that celebrates international togetherness and promotes awareness among children in order to improve the welfare of the younger generation worldwide. Rejoicing on this special occasion, let us take a look at two films that ignite the pure, simple, and imaginative inner child in our hearts. Mary Poppins and Mary Poppins Returns. These enchanting features are based on Mary Poppins, the beloved magical nanny originally brought to life in the fictional book series of the same name by P.L. Travers. The first film, released in 1964, is one of the most popular American musical fantasy films and has been selected for preservation in the United States National Film Registry for being culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant.
Mary Poppins, get big time!
In 1910, Edwardian London, a very disciplined English gentleman, Mr. Banks, comes back home only to find that his children, Jane and Michael, have run away again, this time to chase their lost kite. Once more, the nanny resigned. This time, Mr. Banks decides to take the matter upon himself to find the right person for the job. He immediately puts an advertisement in the newspaper for a stern, no-nonsense nanny, and he will conduct the interview in person. However, Jane and Michael have their own ideas as to what kind of nanny they really want and write a detailed list. This, of course, is not acceptable at all to Mr. Banks, and he just rips up their request, throwing the scraps in the fireplace. Then the magic begins as the torn pieces of paper float up and away to the legendary Mary Poppins.
Light up the sky. It's the entertainment thrill of a lifetime. Mary Poppins, Walt Disney's newest and most delightfully entertaining motion picture. Starring the toast of Broadway's musical stage, the incomparable Julie Andrews.
For a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down, the medicine go down, medicine go down. Just a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down in a most delightful way.
And America's fabulous funny man, Dick Van Dyke, as you've never seen him before. Mary Poppins, the fabulous adventures of the world's most charming and delightfully eccentric heroine.
It's supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Mary Poppins smoothly convinces Mr. Banks that she is the right person to be the children's nanny. This movie is delightful viewing for the whole family as we see Mary Poppins weave her magic with young Jane and Michael, turning work into a game and medicine into something delicious with just a spoonful of sugar. The children meet Mary's very greedy, jack-of-all-trades friend, Bert, who is working as a scriver that day. The group of four then jump into Bert's pavement drawing and have a wonderful adventure in the vibrant countryside, ride on a carousel, and rescue a lovely fox. Join in the adventure, fun, and laughter at a tea party held on the ceiling with Uncle Albert, who can't help telling jokes. The entire experience is in one magical word: supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Up for the railing!
The whole household transforms and is so filled with good cheer that it baffles the serious Mr. Banks, who even considers firing Mary Poppins.
I can tell you one thing, Winifred. I don't propose standing idly by and letting that woman, Mary Poppins, undermine the discipline of... There's been something odd, I may say, extremely odd, about the behavior of this household since that woman arrived.
Yes, dear?
Ow! They're at it again!
Yes, the wondrous and magical ways of Walt Disney's Mary Poppins so completely and so hilariously discombobulate the family with whom she comes to stay in such delightfully amazing ways. Their lives are never again quite the same. And nor will yours be when you've been touched by the magic of this magnificent new motion picture from Walt Disney, Mary Poppins.
Oh, it's a jolly holiday with Mary.
Oh,
supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Even though the sound of it is something quite atrocious. If you say it loud enough, you'll always sound precocious. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Goodbye, Mary Poppins. Don't stay away too long.
Full of music, dance, elation, and imagination, this irresistible 1964 Walt Disney classic features legendary actors Julie Andrews as the enchanting Mary Poppins and Dick Van Dyke playing the joyful bird. Directed by Robert Stevenson, the movie combines live action with animation. As Mary Poppins takes care of the children, she brings a spark of magic to the Banks family, helping them rediscover their happiness, love, and wonder in life. It has received numerous awards, including the 1965 Oscars for Best Music Original Song for Chim Chim Cherry, Best Music Score Substantially Original, Best Actress in a Leading Role, Best Film Editing, and Best Visual Effects.
And I liked what I drew.
We will take a short walk in the sun and be right back here on Supreme Master Television.
Be glad of a copper or two. Me cap would be glad of a copper or two.
Welcome back, cinema lovers, to a spoonful of sugar. Mary Poppins and Mary Poppins Returns. The 1964 Mary Poppins was such a success that a year later, Walt Disney attempted to produce a sequel. Despite several tries, it was 54 years later, in 2018, that the long-awaited sequel, Mary Poppins Returns, was finally released. Directed by Rob Marshall, the film takes us back to the Banks family home on Cherry Tree Lane in London, where Michael and Jane are now grown up. Michael is struggling after losing his beloved wife. He lives in the Banks family house with his 3 children, Annabelle, John, and George, who are always trying to help and cheer up their father. Although he's working at the same bank as his father did, Michael is an artist at heart and has a hard time managing the household financially, especially during hard times. Jane, who is an activist just like her mother was, moves back to help Michael during this difficult time. She remembers that the father had shares in the bank. Perhaps the shares can help them keep the family house that holds so many precious memories. But where is the share certificate? While searching for it, the siblings find the whole kite that the family used to fly.
I honestly can't remember why we kept most of this stuff to begin with.
Don't you remember that kite? We used to love flying that with Mother and Father.
Those days are long behind me.
That's why I live and breathe.
I was flying the kite and it got caught on a nanny.
Mary,
Poppins, you came back.
you seem hardly to have aged at all.
Really? One never discusses a woman's age, Michael. Would have hoped I taught you better.
As with Jane and Michael in their own childhood, Mary Poppins takes the children, Annabelle, John, and Georgie, on all kinds of wondrous trips and adventures.
They are joined by Jack,
An optimistic
lamplighter and former apprentice of Bert from Jane and Michael's adventures.
A bathtub plunge leads to the undersea Fantasia,
And the horse carriage, painted on their mother's beautiful china, magically takes them for a ride. An unbelievable visit to Mary's cousin, Topsy. See them all turn upside down and enjoy fabulous dancing and singing in the Royal Downtown
Music Hall. Each minute
is full of entertainment with Mary Poppins, but can Mary help Michael and Jane save the family home?
What brings you here after all this time?
Same thing that brought me the first time. I've come to look after the Banks children.
Us?
Oh, yes, you too.
We're about to lose our home. Everything's fallen to pieces since your mother.
I miss Mother.
Nothing's gone forever, only out of place.
It's a good thing you come along when you did, Mary Poppins.
How'd you do that?
Do what?
So you've been off filling the children's heads with stuff and nonsense.
You've forgotten what it's like to be a child.
Everything is possible.
Even the impossible.
Blending the endearing elements from the original film into the sequel, Mary Poppins Returns warms the hearts of all viewers, adults and children alike. Starring Emily Blunt as Mary Poppins and Lin-Manuel Miranda as Jack,
the movie also features songs that are both charming and insightful, as well as spirited animation that marvelously joins the live-action cast. Mary Poppins Returns was selected by both the National Board of Review and American Film Institute as one of the top 10 films of 2018. It has won numerous awards and was also nominated for 4 Golden Globes, including for Best Picture, and 4 Academy Awards, including for Best Music and Best Musical Score by Mark Sherman.
Mary Poppins and its sequel, Mary Poppins Returns, are 2 wonderful films that teach valuable lessons about family, love, and hope through the fantastic adventures, incredible imagination, and timeless song and dance.
If we never look down, let the past take a bow, the forever is now.
Noble viewers, thank you for your gracious presence today.